Hello. My name is Nina. Welcome to my channel and welcome back to a reading vlog. I am completely back on my reading vlog grind. I'm having so much fun filming reading vlogs and reading a lot more. I've been reading a lot and I've been filming my reading and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So I figured I wanted to do a new reading vlog and I've already decided what I'm gonna read because I just started Six of Crows. Now, if you've seen any of my videos lately, you know that I am getting into my fantasy era. I was never a big fantasy girl, but I read Will of the Many for the video in which my friends recommended me books to read, and I absolutely loved that book, and that is like a high fantasy book. It's like one of those books where you're confused for most of the time, but it makes sense, and it was so well written. I loved that book. And from that moment on, I tried to read more and more fantasy books. And two of my close friends, Leora and Leonie, are both big fantasy girlies. And they have been trying to get me to read the Six of Crows duology ever since we met. They were both like, if you get into fantasy, this is the book to read. Like, this is the creme de la creme of young adult fantasy books. It's incredible. You have to read it. And for a while, I was like, I don't know if this is my cup of tea. But then I was like, since I'm getting into fantasy now anyway, I have to read it. Like, it's time. I have to read Six of Crows. I've also bought a copy of the second book, Crowned Kingdom? Crowd of Kingdom? I don't know. Crooked Kingdom. So that is what I'm going to be reading in this video. I am also reading the second book in the Nevermore series. I read the first Nevermore book in my last reading vlog, and I immediately started the second book after I finished it because I really missed the world as soon as I closed the book. And I have that book on my e-reader. So like at night when I'm reading in bed, I read that book, but any other moment, I'm reading this. However, I am 3 chapters in right now, which, to be fair, is not a lot. But I am really bored. I am really not enjoying this book so far. And that is mostly because nothing gets explained. Every single sentence has words that I don't know because they're like fantasy worlds, they're like realms, they're like whatever things in this world that don't exist in our world, which is fine, but none of these things are getting explained. So every time I open this book, I'm just like, I not only don't know what's happening, but I also don't have a chance to know what's happening because they're just brushing over the fact that we don't know any of these words. And I know that is part of fantasy. It's like, it's really common to not understand anything in the first couple of chapters, but that just makes it really hard for me to feel invested in the story. Because so far we've had one thing happen that was like an actual activity, like that it was clear they were going somewhere, there was like something going on at that place, and then they came back, and that was the only moment where I was like, I understand what's happening right now. All of the other things that have been explained, it's just question marks, which has not really made me feel excited to continue reading, but I will because I need to finish this book. Like, this is, if both of the friends that are like real fantasy lovers are absolutely obsessed with this book, it must be good. So I have high expectations. I hope it will get better. I will keep you posted, of course. Besides book updates, I have a really exciting weekend ahead of me. It is Friday morning right now. When I turned 25 last February, I asked all of my friends and family members to, instead of giving me physical gifts, to give me something that we could do together. And my boyfriend took that and he was like, I am taking you on a weekend trip and I'm not telling you where we're going, which is something we do very often. This is almost always our birthday gift to each other. And it's such a fun tradition because not only do we get this full weekend with just the two of us and we have this fun little trip and you have something to look forward to, but also it's like one big surprise. I have no clue what we're going to do and where we're going. And I really love surprises. So that is really fun, and that is happening this weekend. So he did tell me that we're going to a city, so I have to pack for like a city trip, and it's, I think, somewhere between a 2 and 3 hour car ride. So I'm about to go. I hope I can get some reading done in the car, and I'm taking you with me, of course. I have no clue what we're gonna do, but I'm so excited. I can't wait. So let's start this vlog.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
Good morning. It is Saturday. We are about to go out and get some coffee and some breakfast. The plan for today is just to walk around, see all that this city has to offer, and also maybe do a boat tour. It is supposed to be really rainy today, so let's see what the day brings us. I am really excited.
To see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a race. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day to tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Gotta give. Today is a good day. Today is a good.
Hello, we are back in our Airbnb and we had such a fun day. I showed you almost all of it, but we did so many nice things. And one small part of our day was also doing a bit of shopping. Honestly, we just kind of walked through the 2 big shopping streets and we didn't enter that many stores, but there was a bookstore that I obviously had to go to and I bought 2 books. and also something else that I wanted to show you. One thing about Belgium and also about Germany, if you've never been, is that there's always these like extravagant Christmas stores. Like there's always one store in this whatever town you're in that is like incredibly huge, and it just has Christmas decorations, and it's all year round. It's like filled to the brim, and it's there in every single town. And we always go because it's so fun to look, but we almost never buy anything. But this one had a stuffed animal section, and I fell in love with basically all of them. I never have that. I'm not a big stuffed animal person. I have the stuffed animal that I had when I was a child. I still own it, but I don't really buy anymore. However, something about these. And then my boyfriend was like, what if we buy one for Snickers, which is our cat? So we had to choose. I was really doubting because there were teddy bears that I loved. They were so cute. And one had like this little onesie. He was adorable. But there were also bunnies. And the bunnies were also so cute. And we found a bunny that has a little scarf. So that's what we got. This is her or him or them. This bunny is so incredibly soft and so cute. I feel like I have seen the light and I should be buying stuffed animals all the time. This has brought me so much joy today. My boyfriend ended up putting the stuffed animal like in the bag, but like in a way that the arms and the head was poked out so he could kind of look around, and it was so cute. And all day I was just staring at this bunny and I was like, this is incredible. I don't think I've bought a stuffed animal for myself or my cat technically since I was a child, but she is so cute. When we walked out, I was like, we have to name them. And my boyfriend was like, it's Reggie. No second to think, just his name is Reggie. And I was like, okay, maybe we keep thinking about it, but every name that I suggest, my boyfriend's like, no, his name is Reggie. What do you mean? So I don't know. Let me know if this is a Reggie or if we should name him anything else. I don't think I'm convinced. I think she's a girl, but it could be like Regina and then Reggie for short. I'm open to that, but I feel like there could be cuter names. So let me know what we should name her. Anyway, silly little gifts aside, I did buy 2 books today, which I was not really planning on. We saw a bookstore from the boat tour we were on, which, by the way, was so fun. I used to never be the type of person who went on like the touristy things, but my boyfriend has convinced me in the past couple of years to do like the hop on hop off buses and the boat tours and things like that. And every time I do one, I'm like, this is so fun. I understand why it's a tourist trap, especially in this town, because it's like all of the bridges and there's so much history and there's so many beautiful buildings and it just looks really different from the water. So it was so fun to go. And then we saw a like very old looking bookstore from the water. So we were like, once we get out of this boat, we have to go to that bookstore, and we did. And it was really cute, but there was a really small English section, so I didn't really expect to find anything until I looked at like one of the 3 shelves that had English books, and I found this book, Annie bought, which actually has been on my to-read list for a while because my best friend read this book, and this is like the only book that my best friend has read that I didn't recommend to her. So every time we talk about books, she's like, you have to read Annie Bot. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I think it's like sci-fi. It's about AI or robots, or I think it's about a robot that is also a girlfriend, like almost human, and that's just not really my cup of tea. But she is so excited about this book, and I already thought that I would listen to it on audio, but now that I found it in the bookstore, I was like, I have to buy it. Like, I'm sorry, this store has like 5 English books and one of them is this one. I need to get it. It's also not very thick, so I'm really excited actually to read this book because Book was so excited about it, so I think I will really enjoy it, or at least really enjoy the process of being able to talk about it with her. And then I turned to leave and I saw a book and I was like, what do you mean? Because I am a big Taylor Jenkins Reid fan. I have read all of her recent work and I think all of her backlog, but I think there's maybe one book that I haven't read, but almost all of her books since I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like everything that came out since I've read, but also I've read like most of the things that came before. So tell me why I did not know she had a new release. Like, I knew that something new was coming, but I didn't know that it was this soon. When I was in the store, I actually suspected that it might have been put on the shelves before the release date, but then I Googled it and it turns out that it was actually released this week. I just didn't know. I also follow like a bunch of booktubers and people on Instagram. I have not seen this book yet. To be frank, I am not on TikTok currently, so it might have been on TikTok and I just didn't see. But I was so surprised when I saw this book, so I of course had to get it immediately. I will probably read this really soon. I don't know if it will be in this reading vlog because I'm reading the Six of Crows, but it might be the next, because this, once I'm finished with Six of Crows and the next book, then I'm gonna read this one as soon as possible. I'm so excited. I love every single thing Taylor Jenkins Reid right. So high expectations. Let's see if they will be met. So that is all I bought today. Like I said, shopping was not that big of our day, so I didn't expect to buy that much. So I'm really happy with the things that I got. I'm now really tired because we had a really busy and like active day. We also, to be fair, we did go to like 4 million restaurants and terraces and cafes. So we just love to sit down somewhere with a drink. So we did do that a lot as well. But tomorrow we have another day in this city. We're going home at the end of the day tomorrow. So for the rest of the night, we are going to play a little bit of Mario Kart, maybe watch a movie or a show, and then get a good night rest. So we have a lot of energy for tomorrow. Alright, it is Tuesday night. I am back in my regular work rhythm. I've read, I've worked, and I'm here with an update on Six of Crows. I am now at page 175, which is about between 35 and 40% of the book, and I am still not really enjoying it. And I do see why people love this book. I feel like it is clearly really well written. The characters are really flashed out. I understand why people would be obsessed with this. However, I am not a big fantasy person in general, but if I do like fantasy, it is because I love the world and that things are possible that are not possible in the real world. And there are really interesting things happening in this book as well. But so far, that has not really had any priority. It is not being explained at all because we have been too busy battling. And battles in any way are always my least favorite part of fantasy books. One of the things that really annoys me about fantasy books is that they're almost always about war, or they're like really cozy and someone has like owns a coffee shop. I want a fantasy book that is like tragic, dramatic, like family problems, whatever, in the fantasy world, but not based on people are constantly fighting each other. This one is not technically about a war, but it is about a heist and about like people are fighting each other left and right. There's always ambushes happening. And that is just, it's like every other chapter. And again, that is my least favorite part of any fantasy book. So I feel like that is a really big problem in terms of liking this book, because that is like a big chunk of this book. And I hope that in the rest of this book, I am going to learn more about the world, because there are a few things, mainly I think Grisha, do you say Grisha or Grisha? Are like these witches slash fantasy people that have magic. I don't know. There's not really anything explained yet. I hope that will happen soon. But yeah, no, all the battle and all the fighting is just not for me. So far, not really enjoying it yet. I can see that you will enjoy it if you do like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, I am still going to finish it, so don't worry. I will stick with it. But that is my main problem with this book currently.
Hello, I just got home, and I got home to a package, which I'm really excited about, and I wanted to share it with you. So, online, lately, I've been seeing so many people with these gorgeous leather notebooks, and they're like refillable, and you buy like a case, a leather case, and then you can buy different inserts for in the leather notebook. And I actually have one of these. I've had it for years. This is the one I have. It's not the same style that the ones I see online are, but I love it. I have used this one so much. I got it as a gift from my boyfriend, I think in 2018, and I've used it a bunch, and it's mostly full now. However, I totally forgot that you can buy inserts for it, and you can like replace the parts that are full. So I found a brand who does those inserts. They also do like the leather casing, but obviously I didn't need one of those. It is a different brand than what I have currently, so I had to buy some accessories to make it work. I think I got everything that I need, and the package is here, so I wanted to show you. I'm so excited. The things that I got make it so that I can basically do anything in this notebook. Alright, these are the things that I got. So my order is from Paper Republic. I don't feel like I have to say that this is like not sponsored in any way. I just bought this. But they work with these elastics to hold the paper. And the one I have works with this leather binding, but for this leather binding to work, your paper has to have holes in them, and the paper I got from Paper Republic does not. So I got a set of the elastics so I can put those in place of the leather binding, and I can still use this paper, but I can also still use the paper that is in here, because this one is filled with just blank paper, and I still have a full like set. As you can see, like this notebook currently has 5 sets in them, and one of them is still completely empty, so I'm gonna leave that in so I can still use that. And to add to that, I got a set of 2 lined notebooks that I can also add, so I have space to write all of my thoughts, my poems, my essays, and I also have space to draw and sketch in this same notebook. But what makes it like actually so different from every other notebook that I've had is this, because I got a planner insert, which means I can have my like diary, my journal, and my sketchbook in one. And whenever one of them is full, I can just replace it. So this is the planner insert. I chose the one that does not have any dates, so you can fill in what day you start. So if I miss a week, I can still use it. They also do have like numbered planners, so they have one that starts in July and one that starts in January. But this, I think, is perfect for me because I don't need a planner every single week, but I do love to use it. It also has a 6-month overview at the front, and I think at the back as well for the other 6 months. This should be enough for half a year, I think, of weeks, and there's 2 in a package, so that's enough for the full year, and maybe even longer if you don't use it every single week. So I'm gonna add one of these into my casing, and then of course also one of the lined notebooks. I'm so excited about this. So these will be added, and then I will use these to add them in, and I have the blank paper already in there. It is different paper, but since I already had it, I am still going to use it, and then if I run out, I'm going to buy from this same brand, because I wasn't able to buy paper from the brand that my notebook is actually from. And then the final thing, oh my god, it's too high. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, this sizing is not the way that it should be. I'm gonna make this work. The final thing that I got is this card holder, because I journal a lot and I can collect like a lot of junk for my junk journaling, and I love having a place to keep it. So this is just a way to keep all of the loose papers, and you can also add that into the notebook. I did just see that the sizing is different, which I should have expected. I did measure it-ish, but not strictly enough. But I'm gonna try to make it work, because this is like so thin that I can probably cut it to still fit. So that should be fine, I think. But then I have like my perfect notebook, and whenever I need something else, I can add it. And whenever I run out of something, I can replace it. I'm so excited.
I left the hall light on in case you come back home. I sent and it takes that I was wrong. Oh, won't you come back home? Why won't you come back home?
Alright, this is it. I put new elastics on the outside as well because the leather strap that was holding it together was quite old and it was kind of fraying. So I put these like rainbow things. I have a green and a blue one, and then a red and orange. And then these are the colors from the sides. And then the first thing you see is the planner. After that is the lined notebook here. And then I have the blank pages and the card holder. I did have to cut all of them because I was stupid and I measured the width, but I did not measure the height because I just didn't think that I had to. I just figured it was an A5 size and it wasn't, but it was fine. Honestly, I am really not that careful with my notebooks. Once I use them, I love it if they're imperfect because the less perfect they are, the more comfortable I feel using them. It's fine. It's gonna get messy and ugly anyway once I use it. I am now gonna fill the planner for next week. And I'm also going to add all of the junk that I've collected in this weekend to the journal part.
Still see your friends from time to time. They say you are doing fine. I smile and hold my breath and count to 10. Wish I could say the same. Wish I could say the same. Sleeping with the light on dim. The dark feels heavier without you in. And every chord I strike cries your name. You come back home again.
Alright, I am currently at 75% of this book, and I am happy to announce that I'm enjoying it a lot more than I was at the beginning. We've had a lot of backstory from the characters, and that has been my favorite part by far so far. I feel like all of the characters are really interesting. The relationships between the characters are really interesting. Everyone has their own really tragic and dramatic backstory, but like it all makes sense. It is revealed in tiny little pieces. So every time you get something and then you're still left wondering what else is there, which is a little bit annoying, but not in a I'm annoyed but I get it. Not I'm annoyed and it's like getting me out of the story. You know what I mean? We are deep into the heist right now. Like I think around 50% is when the actual heist started, and they're really explaining it really well, which I love, because that is part of my gripe with battle scenes usually, is that there's so much happening that I cannot follow what is actually happening. And with this so far, I feel like everything is really well explained. We're taking our time with every single part of this heist, which makes it easy for me to actually understand what is going on. And that automatically makes me more invested in the story. Another thing that I'm experiencing in this book, which I think is really interesting, is that I don't know who I'm rooting for. I feel like all of the characters are really flawed in a good way. Like, I love flawed characters in specifically these types of books where we're essentially following criminals. Like, they are doing something that is against the law, like against many laws. They're killing, they're fighting, like there's a lot of objectively bad things going on, but they're also making me care about every single character. So even like the worst ones, I still understand why they do the things they do, and I still kind of root for them, but also not really, because like they're still criminals, which I think is really interesting. And I talked with Leonie about how I was feeling at the beginning of the book, where I was like, there's so much battle going on and there's not really time to explain everything or actually get to know the characters. And she was like, that's interesting, because everyone I hear that is critical about this book is critical because it's too much character and not enough battle. And I was like, that's not what I'm feeling at all. But now I get it, because the last, I think 20-25% have really been character focused, and that is just what I love personally. So I think that really made this book a lot better, in my opinion. However, it is not yet so incredible that I understand why everyone is so obsessed with this book. Like, in the meantime, since I've started reading this book, I've posted a video in which I just mentioned that I was gonna read this. And I got like multiple comments, people texting me, people DMing me like, oh, I'm so excited for you to read this. I love that series. It's so good. And like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of people in real life that has said this to me as well. And I don't understand that yet. I'm into it now. I'm enjoying it, but in a like 3 to 4 star range, which is good. Like, again, I'm enjoying this book, but I don't understand yet why it is so hyped. But I'm like assuming that will be the second half of the book. And also, I have been told that the second one is the best, and it's like what really makes this series so incredible. So I will read the second book as well. I don't think it will be in this vlog, just because I feel like this vlog is already really long, but I will make a separate video reading the second book after I finish this. So maybe that's where it gets like that good. But so far, 3.5, 4-star read. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to continue reading. On that note, today is a Saturday, and I am about to have what might be my absolutely perfect Saturday. It is really nice weather. It's really warm. I have no plans with anyone except with myself. So my plan is to take this book to this park that also has a lake that I could possibly swim in if I want to. This morning it was quite sunny. Right now it's a little bit more cloudy, so I don't know if it's gonna be warm enough to actually get in the water, but we'll see. Either way, I'll just go to the park. I'm gonna get some like picnic things, a little baguette, some like snacky things for lunch, take them to the park, take my book to the park, take my camera, of course, and then just have the perfect like summery afternoon by myself reading this book. I might try to finish this book, but I don't know if I will manage. Maybe it will be tomorrow. But yeah, I'm incredibly excited to just chill out, be in nature, and enjoy the summer weather, because so far this year we've not had that great weather yet, and the past few days it has been really nice, and the next couple of weeks are supposed to be really nice. So I think this is like hopefully the start of the actual summer weather, because like last week around this time it was like 15 degrees and raining. So I have to soak up this weather while I can.
That you said on repeat in my head, China cabinet busted again, ends it won't meet on the racing the rim, picking up teeth off the pavement, broken like bread, shirts that don't fit, growing mold in the basement. Digging holes for dying hopes, throwing sticks at glass, Coke bottles, losing my grip in the rat race. I can't recall in the first place, what was it I was aiming for? In a canyon left undone, another tape, another rerun. If this is all you know, this is all you know.
the same day, and I just finished reading the book. Like literally, I read the last sentence like 2 minutes ago. So here are my like fresh and raw thoughts. I really enjoyed the end of this book. I thought it was really well written. I think the characters were really interesting. I think the action was like the right amount. It was action packed, but not so much that I kept being confused. The ending surprised me. I have to say, I hadn't thought much about the ending, but I think I kind of expected this book to be tied up in a neat little bow, and then the next book to be like its separate story with the same characters. So I wasn't really expecting like a big surprise at the end. But when that did happen, I was like, oh, this is like, I liked it. I thought it was really surprising and interesting and not and realistic in a way that like a fantasy book can be realistic, but I feel like it made sense for the story. I think my main complaint about this book is that it took, I think, getting to 40 or 50% before I started understanding things. And I know being confused is part of reading fantasy. I know that that is kind of expected. However, I don't think just because every fantasy book is confusing at the beginning, that's not a valid criticism. Because I read 200 to 250 pages until I started understanding what was going on. And before that, there were still things that were like interesting, but there were so many main parts of this story that were not explained, and you just had to figure out through context clues. And I guess that's fine if that's alongside things that are explained, but in terms of the fantasy world, in terms of like how this world works, what things are, nothing is explained. And it took me like halfway through the book to generally understand it. And it wasn't explained. Like it is not explained still, but I feel like now I know kind of enough to understand it. But it's a lot of guessing as well. And half of the book is just too much. I am willing to be confused the first couple of chapters of a book. That is what I expect for a fantasy book. But half of the book is so long. Once I was over the 50% mark, I was really invested and I read through it really quickly. Because this is not a high fantasy, like crazy book. So once I kind of got the basics, I flew through this book and I really enjoyed it, like I said. But just nothing, no politics, no explanation about the world and how it works and why it is the way it is, no explanation of the magic, and you have this magical creature, no explanation about what they are, how it works, why it works, how many people there are. There's just bits and pieces that you have to scramble throughout the whole book, and even in the final chapter, there were more things about that I was learning, and I was like, oh, so that is like that and not like this, which I thought it was, which is why it cannot be a 5-star to me, because it cannot be a 5-star if the first half of the book took me so long to get into. But I think it could have been a 5-star based on the ending. So I understand why people say that the second book is better, because I feel like when I read the second book, I know what I'm expecting, I know the basics of the world, and it would be a lot easier to enjoy it from the start, hopefully. But that is the only complaint I have. It's a big one, but it is the only one, because I feel like the writing was really good. Like, this is a really well written book. I feel like everything was really thought out. Everything made sense in terms of the action and what was happening. I loved the characters. I think the characters really make this book as good as it is. I really was invested in all of the characters. I understand why they do the things they do. I root for them, but I also realize they're like not good people necessarily. The relationships between the characters were really interesting, not just the romantic ones, but every single, like, there's 6 main characters and every single person has a really interesting relationship with at least 2 or 3 other people, and that was so interesting to read about. And also I think it was really well done how that was dispersed throughout the story, and how even in like the battle scenes these relationships were really important and you could see them developing and shifting the situations. And 6 characters is a lot of characters to get to know and to get to love, so I think it's really well done that all of them feel so important to me. And all of them had some type of character development, some more than others, but I feel like everyone grew, everyone changed, everyone learned. Like, there was a lot of character development happening. And I have to admit, I liked the heist. This is the first heist book I've read, and I like it more than war books, I think. I think the heist element was really interesting because it had a lot of tension, but it was not based on we just have to kill as many people as possible from this other group that we hate. It was very much we have this one goal and we will do anything and everything to reach that goal, which included things like murder and like beating people up, but it was not really the main focus. There were also a lot of other really fun elements like hiding, scheming, running over rooftops, like really interesting, cool additions to the story. So I am a lot more positive than I was when I started reading this book, and I did really love it. So I think 4 stars is still a really high rating for a book that took me so long to get into. Do I understand why people are so obsessed with this book? Not yet, but also it's not a really clear no. Anyway, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about this book and also possibly about the second book. I'm definitely gonna read it, and I'm definitely gonna read it in a reading vlog as well, so don't worry. But I'm curious to hear if any of you had the same experiences, if this duology is so good partially because of the second book, and if the feeling of like the slow beginning is like something that everyone experiences. But if you are like me and you have not read it, then I do really recommend it. I do think it was worth the time it took me to get into it. So that is really saying a lot. All right, that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please let me know in the comments. You can subscribe down below if you want to. And I will hopefully see you again with a new video next week. Bye!